everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Yes, we're doing another blind episode. This is going to be California red blends versus Washington red blends. They're all the $15 range, all of them. And I have no idea which is which. We're going to see which one comes out first. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is Washington Wine Month. March is the original Washington Wine Month. 1,000 plus wineries in Washington State. Over 400 growers, grape growers. There are 14 AVAs in the state of Washington, and we produce about 17.5, they produce about 17.5 million cases a year. Now that isn't even close to California. We're the second largest producer in the United States. California is first and will probably always stay there because they're just a big state, as we know. So we're going to see, out of these four, which one comes out on top. Now, I love all wines. I love wines from California, Washington, Oregon, Italy, France, everywhere in the world. I love them all. I don't have a preference. I'm very proud of what we do in the state of Washington. We have some very fine wines. And the really cool thing about Washington State is that they produce some top-notch wines that get some of the big scores in the periodicals like Wine Spectator and Parker's Wine Advocate, and yet they're almost a third or half the price of big boys from California. True story. Just saying. All right, let's get started right away. Oh, first a quick shout out to Rebecca. She came to the store, made me feel so good. She said, my husband and I, we watch your episodes. On Cocktail Hour, we like them a lot. They thank me for taking the time to do these. I really love doing them. And, it just makes me feel good. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting me. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you're enjoying the programs. Number one. We'll rinse. We rinse it because there might be something in the glass that could affect the wine. All right. Number one. Let's see what we get on the nose. So the color, which I want to keep remembering to do, it's fairly dark. You can see through it a little bit, but fairly dark. I get a glint of like red coming through there from the lights. Get a lot of licorice, a little bit of earth, tobacco. There's a funny little funk, like a little bit of a wet leather element coming through. Definitely cherry notes and a little bit of red flowers. Let's see what we get on the palate. Good fruit. I get a kind of a cross between a cherry and currants coming through. Interesting tobacco notes on the backside and a little bit of black pepper coming through. I find that quite interesting. Nice flow across the palate. The tannins are soft, but they're structured. They have a little bit of an edge to them. You know they're there. Interesting wine. I like it. It's a little bit. I'm not going to say it's not super complex, but it's good. And I have a feeling this one's from California because of the fruit. But, we can get that fruit in Washington State, too. And I think that's probably why we're number 2 in the United States for production of wine. I get the licorice comes through on the mid-palate into the finish. Long finish. Seriously, I'm still tasting it. And it's very fruit-forward, but not over the top. It's not goopy. It has good structure, so I use the word goopy, you know what I mean? Like fruit, kind of viscous, kind of jammy, it doesn't have a lot going on. This does have something going on. Yeah, not super complex, has some complexity. I like the structure of this wine. It's fruit forward, but it has enough structure to keep that in its place. Yeah. The only thing about this wine is it's now. I think I mentioned these are all $15. I wanted to play on a level field, made sure they're all the same retail. I have no idea. In fact, I forgot which ones I threw in this for Susie to mix up and bag and do it all. So, but I think it just lacks a little complexity. I think a lot of people will like this wine. It's very easy to drink, very soft with just a little bit of an edge. Okay, there we go. Not bad, not a bad start. I think that might be California. I'm going to write that on there, just see if I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that could be California. Okay, let's move on. Number 2. Rinse paper. I think one of these have a rip in the bag. I'm a little concerned about, yep, little rip. I can't see through it though. Rinse. Cool thing about doing these episodes too is I find some great wines doing these. So that's another benefit for me at the store level. Color about the same, maybe just a hair darker than the first one. Pretty close to the same. Yeah, you can see through it a little bit, but not all the way. Maybe even, I'm going to go back, maybe even a little lighter after I looked at it from that angle. Fairly closed on the nose, I don't get much. I get this kind of an earthiness that comes through, maybe a little bit of almost like a beet component. Kind of a candied cherry coming, but it's pretty challenged aromatically. I'll just say that right off the bat. Yeah, not getting a lot out of it. And I would encourage all of you to smell your wine. It's such a big thing with wine tasting. If you want to enjoy your wine more, just take a little time to smell it. Yeah, and I've used this analogy before, and it's true. If you've ever eaten a meal, when you have a stuffy nose from a cold, you know, it really makes that meal less enjoyable because you can't smell the stuff. Can't smell the wine, can't smell the stuff. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Talk about one-dimensional. This is one-dimensional. It's just like this earth. I would have to say a little bit of earth and cherries, and that's it. Nothing else. There's nothing there. I mean, the tannins are soft. Wow. Not impressed with this wine. This is like a safe wine. You might offer it to somebody knowing that they're not going to be offended by it, but you know, I drink a lot of wine and I know what to, you know, I have expectations even at $15. Do you have expectations at $15? Let me know. Do you? What do you expect at $15? Why don't you make a comment? Let me know. Just a tiny grip. No, I'm not feeling that one at all. Like I said, it's a safe wine, but there's nothing going on. It's just you get a little bit of cherry, a little bit of currant, front to finish, almost like a candied element, like you're sucking on the candies. But the tannins are really soft. Really not. There's not enough acidity to even give it something going on. I mean, you know, this first one stands out even more after tasting this one. Yeah, I'm just not impressed at all with this one. I have no idea where it comes from. I'm going to say Washington. I'm afraid to say that, but there's not a lot of fruit. It's very boring. It's a boring wine. I mean, you know, if you sat there and drank this and had some popcorn and you weren't really paying attention, some peanuts, some chips, whatever, you probably wouldn't care. But I have a feeling. You know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Cal on this one too. I don't know why there would be 2 California in a row, but I'm probably wrong. I can change my mind though, and I will. I'm going to take that liberty. Number 3. Ugh. Now, there was nothing funky about that wine. It was just boring, you know. It's kind of like when you turn on a television program and you get about 5-10 minutes into it and you shut it off because it's just not good. not corked. Let's see what we get on the nose with number 3. This has some green on it. Interesting. Little veggie action. Little celery. Green bell pepper coming through a little bit, just slightly. Get more kind of a plum blackberry thing coming through. Yeah, definitely. A little more on the nose, still not super exciting. This again, the color on this one, I would darkest of the bunch so far. Okay. That veggie might have Cab Franc in it. Not super aromatic, but better than number 2. Let's see what we get on the palate. I kind of get that black plum, blackberry thing going on. Little grit on the tannins. Good flow across the palate. Doesn't have any highs and lows. It's not as boring as number 2. Not super exciting either. This is kind of disappointing. The number 1 was the best one so far. Interesting that the veggie part doesn't come out on the palate. At least I don't get it. Got it on the nose, but not on the palate. That's very interesting to me. A little earthy, I like that. Like I said, the plums and the blackberries, maybe just a bit of currant notes coming through. A little bit of chocolate on the backside. Not too bad, not great. Guys, I'm just telling you right now, just when you start spending $15, I've had some great wines at $15. I've had some great wines at $20. I've had some great wines at $30, $40, $50 and up. I've been disappointed a lot more in the upper range than the lower range, but I do have some expectations in the $15 range, and so far none of these have really hit that mark that I'm looking for. The veggie comes through right on the back of the mid palate, coming through a little grippy on the backside, but not seriously grippy. You know, a lot of people, when they ask me for wines, they say, "Does it?" I don't like that bitterness on the back end, which could be tannins. This is not there. I like it better than number 2, but not as much as number 1. Number 1 set the bar really for all of them. I think this is California. I think I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to say this is Washington, even though I kind of dissed it. I'm going to say this is California. I'm doing it, okay. I'm just going to go, yeah, straight. All right, I think that's fair. Nothing standing out. I'm a little bit disappointed so far. I was hoping for better. Let's get to number 4. Maybe number 4 will break the bank. Number 4. Oh, it's an interesting fact about Washington State is how many grape varieties they grow in the state. And I've talked about this before, that Washington State does a lot of varietals well, which some winemakers think is a detriment because, you know, Napa Valley is known for its Cab, Willamette Valley is known for its Pinot. What is Washington State known for? I think Syrah's a big one, but Syrah's kind of flat in the market. I like the Merlot of Washington State too. I think Merlot, but again, once again, you're talking about those varietals that have just taken a hit. Merlot's coming back though, and I love Merlot. Let's see what we get on the nose with number 4. Color, same as number 3, a little darker. Yeah, definitely darker than 1 and 2. Same as number 3. Okay, let's see what we get on the nose. Definitely a candied currants for sure. Touch of brown sugar coming through. Maybe just a touch of kind of chocolate. Burning the nose hairs. higher in alcohol. I'm going to have to pull one of these as a, yeah, I can't have 3 I know I don't have 3 California, but I'm saying this is California. I like the nose on this. It's very sweet on the nose. You feel like you're getting almost very candy. Let's see what we get on the palate. This is a mouthful of wine. I'm definitely calling this California. I get currants and cherries, ripe currants and cherries. A little bit of a touch of brown sugar coming through, not big time. I don't like brown sugar in my red wines, but this has got a little bit of it, but it's not off-putting to me. A good balance, nice flow across the palate. This is a delicious wine. This is a 10 in the delicious category. Long finish. It has good acidity, so the finish is a little bit fresher than the front and the mid palate. Tannins are smooth, but once again, they have a little bit of an edge to them. You know they're there, but they're smooth, if that makes any sense to you. I always say tannins can be a little edgy. In other words, every once in a while they creep out and show you they're there, but they're very smooth. This is a one. Now, if for $15, I'd have to say that's the best of the bunch. Of course, I'm giving that away, right? But you don't know what's in here, neither do I. I think this is definitely California, so I'm going to have to change my choice. Number 1, God, I hate to do this, but I'm going to say Washington in the middle. From a delicious standpoint, from a structure standpoint, from a balance standpoint, I think this one really, really comes through. $15. I think this one would knock it out of the park. Little licorice on the backside. Finish is really clean. I like that. So up front you get that kind of bigger fruit. Mid palate, bigger fruit. Then it cleans up with the acidity. The only thing that, and it's not big, but that brown sugar element sometimes throws me off just a little bit. But I think based on the score I gave number 1, there we go. Okay. So in first place, number 4. Second place, number 1. I have a feeling I think number 1, the first place is California. And in third place, number 3. And then last place, number 2. So I said this was from Washington. The only reason I said that is because it lacked the fruit that you would expect from California wine. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. With a C-, I was not impressed with this wine. I thought it was very boring, one-dimensional. I didn't think it was offensive, but certainly not something I want to spend $15 on. So in last place, wow. Now this surprises me big time. Big time, because this is, now I've really enjoyed this wine in the past, but compared to the other ones, I thought this one underperformed. Wow, that just totally surprises me. This is the Two Mountains Hidden Horse Red Blend number 17. And this rolls in at $15. They all roll in at $15. Humble Roots Wine Estate. No vintage on this, just number 17. I don't know which vintage I tried in the past. There you go, guys. I just, I don't think this would offend anybody, but by the same token, yeah, it's just boring for $15. Now, the last one I may have tried, I think it was number 16, number 16. That's probably a vintage, I don't know. I asked the sales rep one time, he didn't know either. But, yeah, just not super excited about that. Let's move on. That surprises me totally. In third place with a C+, so this had a C-, C+, I said was from Washington as well. Ah, God, I nailed it. Occam's Razor. This is a poured about by Rasa Vineyards. Occam's Razor Red Wine Blend 2017. So I nailed it on where they're from. Absolutely. A little disappointed in Washington State at the $15 range. But this is a good wine. I mean, you know, what did I say? Sorry. I gave it a C, C+. Yeah, so not terrible. It had some interesting things going on. I liked it. I've actually, quite a few customers, I have it stacked in the store. Quite a few customers have come back for more. So not bad. But I called this in second place with a C+, B-. So none of these guys like knocked it out of the park. I said California. I know I'm right because there were 2 and 2. This is the Klein Cashmere Red Wine, California, 2017. Once again, they all roll in at $15. There you go. A lot of you are familiar with Klein. They do a nice job. Good job, guys. Okay, in first place with a straight up B-. I thought this one was the most crowd pleasing of the bunch. I thought it had some good qualities to it. The brown sugar threw me off a little bit. I would have given it a higher grade with that brown sugar sometimes, but it wasn't dominant. It was just part of it. This is the Klinkerbrick Winery 2016 Brick Mason Red. Rolls in at $15. Nice job, Klinkerbrick. You did good with this one. #1 wine. So, California kicked ass on Washington this time around. We'll have to do another one. I mean, I can't let that happen, but it did. What can I say? California did it at the $15 range. We might have to go up a notch. What do you think? Thanks for taking a little time out of your day to watch. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.